G'day guys, what's cracking? It's Ralph here, and today I am vlogging to you on the action camera from XTU called the S6. Now this is shot on audio from the camera at 4K at 30 frames a second. Let's just switch over to 1080p 30 frames a second, and I'm doing this to ask you whether you can see a remarkable difference, because there's a myth in the camera world that 4K is so much better than 1080p, but this camera is for somebody who wants a camera that they can take out. It's an action camera, they can take it underwater, they can do some cool things with it, they don't have to worry about it breaking, it's easy to use, but it has very straightforward channels of being able to understand how it works, and that's what we're going to get into in this video. So why don't you come with me? Let's start with a quality question. How does 720p compared to 4K? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through this scene, and then I'm going to compare a facet of this scene at 720, 1080p, 2.7K and 4K, so you can decide for yourself what you think about the quality that's picked up as you're using this camera in everyday use. So having introduced you to the S6, let me just run through what it looks like on the outside. We have two buttons on top. One is to record and flip your screen from the back to the front by holding it down. The other is to turn the camera on. We go down to the side. Behind this little rubber lock has your USB-C charging and another output cable for your video and your photos. If we look underneath, we have a quarter 20. The quarter 20 is quite shallow, so it will work on most of your tripod plates, but if you put a longer thread in, it will struggle to find its purchase and will spin on that. Then we have our battery bay, much improved from previous battery bays. Has a battery here that you can slide out. You can buy extra batteries and a charger should you need them, and a micro SD card that fits in there. Then we go around the side and we have our up and down, so they zoom and allow you to move through the menus. Got a lens on the front and a big screen on the back. Gives a nice little beep when it turns on, and you orientate around it like you would most other action cameras. So let's start by having a look at what the different menus on this camera can do. This button down the bottom left hand, if you press that, you get all your photo options. So you can go normal video, time lapse, slow motion, night scene, car looping, video and photo, and underwater. You can also select photo. If you go photo, you can choose from a normal photo, time-lapse photo. You can time your photo, so be a certain amount of time happens before it takes a photo. Burst photo takes a number of photos when you press the button. You have long exposure, which is up to a second. You can take a raw photo, and this was taken as a JPEG, is 20 megapixels, whilst the raw was only 12 megapixels. So let's talk about the normal video. So if I go normal video and I have the choice, I can shoot at 4K and 30 frames a second, or 4K 30 frames a second with super view. 2.7, I can only go 30 frames a second. Once I drop down to 1440, I can shoot at 60 frames a second. Then I can go 30 frames a second. If I go to 1080p, I can shoot up to 120 frames a second, which is about 50% slow motion. Then I have 1080p at 60, 1080p 60 at super view, 1080p at 30, and then 30 super view. Then I can go to 720 up to 240. That's super slow, but 720 is a lesser resolution. So if you're going to put something on YouTube, you wouldn't want to go 720, but if you're going to put it on your phone to show your mates, 720 is totally fine. And 240 frames a second means you can slow it down enormously to get very slow motion results. Then we can go to 120, 60 and 30, and you can choose your options between them. Now interestingly, if we go back to this video and we choose slow motion, look at what it does. It gives us 1440 at p60, so it gives us the highest resolution with the frame rate at 60, and you can't exactly, I don't think, increase that. No, that's top of the field, but you can double the slow motion by going to 1080p. And what that does is it takes off your ability to have stabilization. So stabilization, which is gyro EIS, isn't available with that mode. So here's a sample of what the slow motion looks like. And I did that in a variety of ways. We played it out with the swimming pool and we went underwater. Then after doing that, I went and put it in underwater mode and took it underwater, and these are the results of that. And I'm just showing you what the camera can do, what its limitations are. This camera isn't waterproof. So previous versions of it have been waterproof. This camera isn't waterproof. You need the case to put it in. The case is really firm, fits really well, has external buttons, but you don't have access to the touch screen. So make sure your touch screen is set to the settings you want before you close it up. And I've found that sometimes this seal can be a little bit dicey. So make sure your seal is really fitting and sitting in the curves, and then it closes up really nice and tightly. It's quite easy to apply and keeps the camera very dry, as I have personally experienced. Also has a stabilizer and anti-vibration. It's called gyro, and I have played about with that a little bit. So here is some of that footage about how much it actually stabilizes. So we'll show you a shot where it's just me walking without it. Then I'm going to put it on. Then I'm going to run with it on, and you can see what you think about these three options and how much it stabilizes the actual shoot. All stabilizers work by cropping in, so you kind of lose some of the image when you do access that stabilization. So let me know what you think in the comments below about that. Now let me show you some of the other options you have. You can segment, which you can change how much video is caught in each session before it starts shooting. There's no gap when you edit them together, but it just stores them in smaller packages. Your audio is on, and you've seen the audio at the start of this video to know what sort of quality that is. You can have a pre-recording option and choose the time length of where your camera will start recording before you actually press record. I can change my meter mode, my exposure, my ISO, my white balance, the scene mode that I might choose. So if it's per people, I can go there. If it's more scenery, I can go there. I can then change my sharpness from low to medium and high. Then I can change my contrast, my brightness, and my saturation. So this is all about personal preference and what you would most enjoy. Then I can choose image high quality, which I always have it in high quality. I can choose a normal filter, or black and white, colorful, brown, which is sepia, warm, cold, so on and so forth. Once you captured your footage, you can then go to this picture, and that shows you all the ones that you have taken, and you can scroll through them and then select whichever one you want. It both has photos as well as video right there. Then we want to get out of that, and these buttons on the side, the top one gives me access to the settings, so I can access my settings straight away via that. I can change all those things that I might want to change, or if I go the bottom arrow, it gives me access to my video mode or whatever mode I'm shooting on in that present moment. Very handy. And then I can access the settings down here. If I look up here at the moment, I don't have gyro on. If I turn gyro on, so you can see what this is about. See, it's got gyro, then it's got microphone, then it's got the battery. The battery has lasted me a long time, and I'm very happy with the battery. It's the camera you get when you don't want to spend all that money on a DJI Osmo Action or a GoPro. Instead, you want something that's going to work, it's going to do the goods, that's going to be able to be beaten up and dropped and smashed around and still hold its own, capture some great image, but you do sacrifice on some of the extra specifications, like high video quality and high frame rate. But to be honest, for you and I, kicking around, family photos, you want something where it's the kids, you're going on an adventure holiday, and you want something to capture that and not get wrecked. I can highly recommend this camera to you, and have really enjoyed using it. As we're nearing the end of this review, it comes with a couple of little boxes, and in these boxes are a remote control, so you can control this from a distance. This is a wrist strap, a number of other mounting options that you can use to mount your camera on helmets, on handlebars, tripod mounts, basically everything else. You can even mount it on an angle. It's got some sticky pads. It has a micro SD card reader for your computer, nice and handy. Mine also came with an SD card, so before you buy an SD card, see if yours comes with it. I imagine it would, because it's a 64 gig. You can stick it in and you're ready to go straight away. There's some other accessories in here. You can charge your camera straight away from a USB plug. It's got a cloth, some cables to hold it secure, another couple of mounting options. So you can buy this and you can pretty much be ready to go with anything you want. Now I'm going to put a video at the end of this of a bunch of other really affordable accessories that you might want to pair with this if you're thinking, I want this, but I also want a chest mount, or I want a selfie stick, or I want something like that. I'll put it at the end of this video so you can have a look at that. This camera is is ideal for giving to one of your kids. So I'm going to give this to my daughter. She has been mad keen on it, and we're going to see what she does with it and what creativity she comes up with. It's nice and handy. It does great quality photos, and it is more durable than a phone. My kids don't have phones. Sometimes you don't want the phone, you want this. Just pull it out, bang off. You can change all the settings. Has a lot of versatility on it, and I can commend it to you. So thank you XTU for sending this to me. Many moons ago I did a video on the S3, which is its predecessor, and they have definitely improved with this camera, both the things it can achieve and the usability of the unit. So thanks very much for sending it to me. I hope this review has been helpful. Any questions, I'll try and answer them in the comments below, and otherwise have a great day. Thanks for liking, subscribing, ringing the bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. It has a little USB, a micro. Oh, always do that.